April 13th. That's a Monday, and I think it's going to be a good week this week, Chris. We've been stumbling forward, and a lot of the stuff, a lot of our transition stuff, a lot of our, on our end of things is really starting to tighten up. And I'm actually looking forward to this week as the week of good production, of just being used to this and being able to be productive and thrive to some extent.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that optimism, Joe. It is Monday, so it's hard for some folks, but I really do believe, after this Easter weekend and this whole rebirth of it, I think we're still in the relief mode, but, I think we're going to start even in today's show. Let's talk about, we're going to have to get into restart mode here soon. So we got to get the momentum back somehow while we're still practicing all the safe distancing efforts. It's time to start thinking about strategies to reopen. So let's start talking about positive momentum, things that are being invested in, activities that can be happening. So I'd love to start focusing on how do we reopen our community again.
And one of the things I think both you and I are really passionate about is growing our own companies here. We work hard to bring companies in, but a lot of our biggest successes here are companies that started right here, and we're getting a nice little headwind to growing a lot of our own companies, to investing in a lot of our own local companies. And one of the figureheads in that is Dave Chitester, who is the co-founder with Irv Cohen of SeedFunders. And he's our guest today. So I'm looking forward to hearing what's going on there.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, I'm here.
Morning, Dave.
Morning.
So as we start out every show, first of all, I just want to say thank you and happy Monday to you. But tell us a little bit about how your experience has been. It looks like you're at home as well. Just give us a rundown of what your life has been like here the last couple of weeks.
Sure. Yeah, it's been over a month now. I've only gone to Publix and the fish store, and that's about it. And working everything out with the bank, doing everything remote, and all the bank deposits. We're still doing investing, so I get checks in the mail from our investors. I get them to the bank. I could do remote deposits. So we do Zoom meetings on Mondays. We still have our regular Monday meetings now through Zoom. So we've actually adapted fairly well, and we are still investing. And my personal life is at home, working at home, and still leading deals. So it's we actually doing pretty well.
Well, I appreciate, first of all, that you're doing well and you're safe and you're healthy. And just for anybody to come on our show, Joe, and say they're starting to do some investment and doing things is certainly worth digging into. So tell us a little bit about that. So you're telling me that folks are still making deals happen in this environment. Can you just give me a sense of the environment of the investment community right now overall? And then we might dive into some of those stories.
Sure. Yeah. We invest in my one-liners. We're looking for pre-revenue scalable technology with a clean cap table. So we're looking for really early companies. We're looking for their first professional investment, their first professional funding. They may have friends and family who have done some investing, or maybe an angel group or an angel person or two, but not a group, not a formal group. So we're pretty unique in the target market that we're looking at. We're the only ones really in the state that are doing that type. So there's a lot of deals out there, obviously. So at this point, we've had some deals in the works, and we can continue with working on those deals. And we just had a partner meeting this morning, and we got the verbal commitment from our due diligence team on a new deal that we're going to fund that one. So we are looking at somewhat follow-on deals where we've invested in companies that see a promising technology that we're doing a follow-on. So one of those is a company called Intelligent Observation that actually has a automated hand washing monitoring system for hospitals that we had first invested in last year. And they are going for a follow-on round now. And obviously that business is really taking off. So that's one example of something that is, because of the coronavirus, they're raising $2.5 million. They're not getting any problem raising that money. We are participating in about 10% of that. And there are other investors throughout the country who are investing in that. So there are deals like that companies have something that the coronavirus actually has highlighted the need for. There are other deals of things that are maybe not, but the amounts are small enough. And by small enough, I mean our average investment is $150,000. We do a lot of $100,000 investments. So those deals right now with the 35 partners we have in St. Petersburg and 5 partners in Orlando, and we go in on deals together, we are seeing the potential that if half the partners don't want to invest and half of them do, we can still raise $100,000 or $200,000 fairly quickly for deals that are promising. So there are deals out there to be had, and there are companies that need the funding and need our help, and we're willing to jump in. And fortunately, we have some really dedicated partners that are willing to help these companies get launched at this early stage, and then help them eventually succeed after the coronavirus is passed.
So that's fascinating to me that you are identifying companies that really will benefit from this current environment where we all find ourselves in, this safe and distanced and hand washed environment. So you're actually finding those. But how does an investor like you and your team look at just the uncertainty of the future anyway? So I know that you're looking for, you're looking throughout, but how do you understand what the future is going to look like to invest in the future? How do you guys go about that?
That is the tough question. And if you read everything in the literature right now, in the publications about venture capital firms are not investing, they're all pretty much holding back and saying, wait a minute, we don't know. There's too much uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe in 30 days it might be different, but right now we're holding off. So from the venture capital standpoint, as opposed to what we do is more of angel investing level, professional angel investment. From the venture capital side, where they're investing 7 figures and up in deals like that, they're pretty much holding off. Although, like I said, the hand washing company does have a 7-figure investment, but in a very particular industry. But overall, some of those larger firms are holding off on considering any new investments right now. For the level that we're at, we can, fortunately, even if some of our partners, of our 40 partners, if half of them, like I said, are saying, I'm going to hold off because I don't really know, we still have 20 partners that might be interested in putting $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 into a deal now. So from the overall aspect of the economy and the uncertainty, certainly the larger investments are holding off right now, and particularly new money. I think what you're going to see is companies looking for their first investment right now. If they're looking for their first investment and it's a 7-figure investment, that's going to be tough. That's really going to be tough. If they're looking for a first investment, it's $100,000, we can do that. But the overall uncertainty in the market is definitely holding off of larger investors like venture capitalists putting 7 figures into a company to get it going, or even to keep it going, keep it ramped up. What we're particularly interested in, and so are venture capitalists, is helping the portfolio companies that we've already invested in.
Here we go.
So we had sent a letter out, an email to all of our portfolio companies a couple of weeks ago and said, how are you being impacted? What do you need? How can we help? What are you going to do? How can we help you not fail during this uncertain environment? And I'm sure a lot of the venture capital companies are doing the same thing, and they're holding their capital for companies they've already invested in to make sure they don't fail before they're going to invest new money in something, in a new deal.
Yep.
So we're totally aware of our portfolio companies, trying to help them.
Did you get much feedback from your portfolio companies as far as needing extra help, or just the input they gave you back?
Yes, out of the, I don't know how many we sent out, well, all of our portfolio companies, but one in particular needed about $100,000 to keep going, to keep their installations going, to keep their product delivery going. And we managed to put together that $100,000 for that company. Another company said they have enough they're shut down because they actually install a management system in senior living facilities. And obviously senior living facilities are closed right now for anybody entering. So they're pretty much shut down. So they said, well, we can't really do it. If we had money, we couldn't do anything. And they said, we have enough capital maybe till the fall, till November. We have enough capital. So we're hunkered down. We're trying to survive. So there's not much we can do at that point to that kind of a company. Other companies, like I said, the hand washing company is full speed ahead. So it's really all over the board. They said, we don't need any help. Your investment's great. So it depends specifically on each individual company.
Gotcha. And are most of your companies in the Tampa Bay, Florida area, or where do you have your investments out at?
We only invest in Florida companies. We have one exception, and we have one company that we invested in that said when they launch, they will open their headquarters in St. Petersburg. So yes, basically it's throughout the state. The hand washing companies out of Fort Lauderdale, The other company I mentioned is out of Jacksonville. We have a company that does gunfire detection systems. They're out of Melbourne. A couple of the other companies are out of St. Petersburg. So we're all over the state, but out of all our portfolio companies, maybe 1/3 to half are actually physically in this area.
So I would imagine you guys had a pretty interesting call today. And before I let Joe have the next question, to me, my understanding is like this might be an opportunity for you guys to really keep your eyes peeled because innovation's on the horizon, right? I mean, people are trying to solve some of these complex issues that we're dealing with right now. So you guys might get busier and need to raise more money to do more in the future. Would you see that happening?
That's exactly right. And we're seeing those kinds of companies that are coming out with solutions. The company we invested in, actually our Orlando group, with SeedFunders Orlando, led a deal in a company that has a platform to live stream events, basically a pay-per-view platform. So if somebody's doing a seminar or doing a concert, they can still do it and not have any audience, but still live stream and have people pay them to see it. We invested in that company. We closed that deal last week, led by our Orlando group, and heavy participation from our St. Petersburg partners as well. So we're seeing those kind of technologies that are taking advantage of this. And again, like you mentioned, the long term is going to be, things are changing. There are going to be a lot more remote things. There are going to be things that we need to look for to invest in now that are going to be successful because the world is changing.
Sure is. Joe, you had a question.
Yeah. And whenever I do Catalyst content around SeedFunders, I just disclose I'm a partner in SeedFunders and on the board, proudly so. I think actually, and Dave himself is a success story because he's already, SeedFunders has expanded to Orlando, and Miami's in the works as well. So as the St. Petersburg started company, it's actually growing its own brand and branching out and becoming a success, growing the partner base. And it really speaks to the unique model, which is what makes it such a fun, that we had 20 people on our meeting. The whole screen, my whole giant monitor was filled up with faces of really accomplished people, all putting their brain power into helping these companies succeed. And, being able to reach out to them, and we have very active board members, and with Dave writing the letters and then coming back, and it's a very tight knit operation where there's at least one, if not more, partners who are really living and breathing that company, and then coming and tapping into the brain power of the rest of the group to make sure that they have every chance of succeeding. And because of that, and finding that niche in the really early seed investing, it's proven to be what I think is going to be a very noteworthy enterprise around Florida in the coming years. It's already, like I said, growing thus far. So I think kudos to Dave and Herb for leading that charge.
Well, kudos to both you guys. So we just came off of Easter. We said we were going to be optimistic, and now we're reporting we've got angels in St. Pete right now that are investing in companies that are doing the right thing. So I think that's the story we wanted to get out there, and make sure that people really are aware that there are guys like you guys out there. And if people are hustling and if people are creating value and looking for the right way to do businesses, you can still succeed here. So while we may be stuck in our homes, it does not stop us from seeing that commerce can occur. Commerce is occurring. We can do that. And now we know we've got a group of angels around us that are investing in those kind of companies. So thank you all very much for that.
Wonderful.
Our pleasure.
All right. Thank you, guys. Dave, good to see you. 5 minutes after I just saw you. And Chris, good to see you as always.
Yeah, Dave.
We'll be back again tomorrow with some more great content.